You're listening to Cinema Red Pill. I'm Sharon, here with my two co-hosts,
Timothy
and
Joel.
Yes. So this is our Christmas episode today. It's Christmas time, around Christmas time. Christmas is on Monday. Christmas is on Monday, so this is a Christmas episode. We're going to talk about a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
In little quotes, but yeah.
The Christmas movie.
We're going to
quotes.
Actually, no. We're talking about a Christmas movie and a classic movie. This is them intertwined, and it's A Wonderful Life. Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life, made in 1946.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas fantasy comedy drama. That's Wikipedia's definition for it. So let's go with that one.
Yeah.
So,
it's an accurate one.
So first we're going to start by defining what a Christmas movie is. This has been a bit of a backstage argument on of how Christmassy this movie is and what actually qualifies as a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to.
You have to start.
Okay, fine.
You have to start.
Let me state my case.
Mm-hmm.
My problems began with Joel, actually. Because Joel, when we were trying to discuss this film and see which one would be suitable for a Christmas movie, we were throwing out ideas. What else was there? I mentioned Die Hard, but then the quintessential Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life. I came in it watching like this is a Christmas movie, so I expected it to be some sort of Christmas mood that I would have. Like I'd be watching it and I'm feeling the vibe of Christmas.
Yeah.
Which is a very reductive thing for me to think of a Christmas movie, but that's the sense I entered the movie in.
Okay.
And then it starts out and it's extremely normal plot with some people problems, as in the movie has a lot going on, which is not really Christmas. It starts with God in the beginning, so I'm like, okay. And then it goes on into this whole thing about this man's life, how he thinks of it. And then about the last 20 minutes is when we get into the groove of the theme, what the movie was trying to do. The whole beginning is basically exposition to a final climatic scene which is involving Christmas.
Yes.
And I felt like, okay, so this movie is a Christmas movie because of that last scene only, which was making me feel like this puts it exactly in the same boat as Die Hard, in that I don't mind people calling Die Hard a Christmas movie, but you criticize them. So I'm like, how can you criticize them yet this movie is the same thing? If you put this movie on any day that's not Christmas, it would still work, which is the same thing with Die Hard. It's a whole other thing. The themes in the movie are there's nothing that holds it to Christmas.
Yeah, I fundamentally disagree with that. It is a very Christmas movie. I think your issues would be more to do with like the way it's structured, because you're right, it does start with like the angels sort of talking. It actually starts on Christmas Eve, it's Christmas Eve, right?
It is Christmas.
And like everyone is praying for this George Bailey guy, like for God to help him and stuff, and then they're going to send this angel Clarence to like come and save him because Clarence is his guardian angel. So God proceeds to brief Clarence on George Bailey's entire backstory, so to understand there's all this backstory about George Bailey, and you have this guy who is a giver, basically. He loses his hearing saving his brother from drowning. He puts his education on hold so he can save his father's company. He's a guy that just keeps giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. Giving is part of Christmas, first of all. It's part of the spirit of Christmas. But now it gets to a point where this guy has given and given and he feels like he has missed out on his entire life. His little brother comes back. He's got to see the world. He's got to go to war, become a war hero. He didn't even get to go to war because of his hearing problem. So he feels like he's just missed out completely on everything and he's miserable. He's living in this house that he feels like is falling apart. His little daughter is sick. So it's like his whole life is falling apart. And, he's completely lost. He's contemplating offing himself, basically. And now this angel returns to show him how much of an impact he has actually made on these people. And for me, it is fitting that the Christmas element comes in strongly now at the end. Because it's almost sort of like, well, Christmas comes once a year. So, like, you have all this shit that happens to you during the year, and Christmas is supposed to be this time where you sort of reflect, and no matter how much shit has happened, you're thankful for the people you have in your life, and, you know, you've done some good shit, all that stuff. So for me, it made sense that Christmas was that part, because even when he comes back, he's like screaming "Merry Christmas" to the entire town. Just that sheer joy. I think he was just happy to have the life that he had, and that is the most Christmassiest thing I've ever seen in any movie. And even if you wanted to deny that this was a Christmas movie, you cannot put it in the same sort of docket as a movie like Die Hard, where it's just the backdrop is it's just the backdrop, it's window dressing. The story is this guy is killing a bunch of terrorists
on Christmas Day.
Yeah, there's really nothing Christmassy about it. But this one, actually, the philosophy of Christmas and what Christmas means, it touches on all that stuff in a way that I think is bigger than a lot of latter-day movies. You got all those Santa Claus movies, those millions of Santa Claus movies are pretty useless, in my opinion. Movies like Elf are more raunchy, sort of comedies. Yeah, so for me, this is the it movie as far as Christmas is concerned.
You guys keep talking about all the good things that he did, but there was this thing it was doing that every time he did a good thing, he was punished for it. And the movie was really dark in that sense. Like, he saves his brother, then he loses his hearing. He tries to save that old man from the capsule thing, like he's poisoning himself, and the man slaps the bejesus out of that dude. Yeah. He tries to save the bank, then it leads to him not going. Every time he was trying to do something nice, it was leading to something bad. It was super, super fucking dark. It's what I keep saying. Like, I wasn't seeing him do these things, him get punished for it, and thinking, oh my god, giving is great, Christmas. That wasn't my thinking that. But then I liked the way that was brought out. It was really cool, which made the whole, when they give him the what if scenario, good. But the man, like you described it, he felt like his life was entirely wasted. Yeah. And that kind of gave him some sort of perspective. And the guy tells him, oh, it's a wonderful life. And there's a point where I told you that this was like a vocation movie. I got that because of how badly he wanted to leave the town. Like, his deal from the beginning, as soon as he's a grown-up, his focus is, I want to leave the town. But he never gets to, and that's really sad. And then at the end, what even made it more significant is when he was sad, he actually, because his dream was to go and build towns, design towns and design bridges. He still had like a workstation of bridges there, and then he knocks them down in real anger. You could really feel like this man must have thought that his life would have been better if he went. Which makes it like people have dreams. It's like, and then which comes to one thing I want to ask you guys. One thing I really want to ask you guys, because this movie is almost telling you that do the right thing, as if like he was always doing what was right, but what was not what he wanted to do. Yeah. And then the movie shows that it was good for him to just do what was right. Yeah. And not what he wanted to do. It's almost like don't exactly follow your dreams.
No, it was.
That's how I could interpret it.
It was more about perspective. Of course, we have our own sensibilities in the era we live in now, which border more on the individualistic. But that era and that time, it makes sense that it was more about community. But there's a line that they keep repeating about how like a man is like super wealthy. Like, there's a lot of wealth in your friends as opposed to to positions, no more riches. So it was just all. It wasn't saying that I don't think the movie was saying you shouldn't follow your dreams or you shouldn't do this. It was just that, hey, for the life that you had, you're actually doing okay. Look at all these people that you've touched, all these people that you've helped. It might not have been what you wanted, but you've still done really great things. So it was just, for me anyway, like a perspective thing. And yeah, I think he would still be bummed out that he didn't do all those other things, but he was now thankful for what he did have. He was able to I'm down. So
I think the issue of probably short-term gains and the long-term, you get basically like even when he came back and like there's that scene when he came back when he didn't exist and like he came and saw the old guy now and the old guy now was like being spat on by the people in the town and everything.
I know.
You see, like he got his beating that time, but in the end something better came out of it because that man was able to live a normal life after he made that mistake. Then again, I want to bring up the thing of the dreams. As I said before, it's like a working man's movie because, as I said, all these guys went to World War II, Frank Capra, James Stewart, and I'm sure at that time when they came back, they were heroes. They basically ended the World War. So now I think they're just trying to draw attention to the people who actually stayed behind, and like his brother went and actually was glorious in war. He was getting medals of honor and all that.
Yeah.
But this guy in his own small town, if he wasn't there, it would have been, what was it called? What was the name?
Bedford Falls. It would have become Potter Town.
Pottersville.
Yeah, you get, so that was basically his contribution to the effort, maybe during the war, because other people were going and fighting abroad, he was fighting the battle at home. So I felt they tried to bring that out, like for the working class man. Probably that's why I'm sure it's revered, because I don't think it's an elitist film in any way. It's very much down to earth.
Yeah.
Which is something I want to talk about is Mr. Potter, the villain himself, who I found he's not a villain, let's call him the antagonist, who is not good because he's very one note. Oh my god, he has no layers whatsoever.
Like zero humanity.
Zero.
Like when got that point where he like hugged this guy's cash
and
8
then
grand.
I was like, man, you
I
can't
was
stoop
like,
any lower.
what the fuck? That gets me every time. It's like, that is way too low. That's ridiculously low.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we all agree that he was not great.
Yes.
He was for the movie he was a person that was easy to hate. I was okay with that because I hated him throughout.
No, because I think he contrasted James Stewart's character very well.
Yeah,
him
he was
being
super
the
greedy
do-gooder and everything and sacrifice, and this guy is the greedy guy. So they kind of
contrasted.
Yeah, and I think their conflict worked well because you could actually see where you actually saw both of their personalities and they were basically in each other's way. So I think probably for a Christmas film, because I'm sure they weren't going for a very high.
But
I'm sure they weren't going for like this film itself. Probably for the character himself, I think is the person who is fleshed out the most. James Stewart. Yeah, he's the only one. I don't think
he's the
one who matters. Basically, the whole backstory is they can't now go into his backstory. Then probably going to Mr. Potter's.
Not that he needs a backstory, but usually when the thing that makes a bad guy good is his reasons are also valid. His reasons for why he's antagonizing him make some sense. But this guy was just doing it out of spite.
It did make sense because
he just wanted more money.
No. That wasn't just it. Because he was like basically he owned the town.
He wanted,
and this guy was the only one who stood up to him because he's the one that shouts him down before he even joins the company. Shouts him down in front of all the board members, and that's why these guys want him to stay and become the boss. So he's the only thorn in this guy's side. This guy would have cornered the entire market. Everyone was living in his slum,
which makes him him turning it into Pottersville is a very too bad. There's no way that is a good thing, which makes me think there was nothing redeemable. There's no reason you'd even side with him for him to turn the place into him. Himself.
I don't think it was
that's why I think it's
but there's another thing why I also find this film a bit weird because by the time it's like an American classic, it feels like probably this guy represents very much capitalism and this guy is so much of a socialist, which is very weird for an American film because they usually promote that this capitalist stuff. So it's something that, I don't know, it's a weird American film in that sense.
Well, in that sense, I don't think they do it in that sense necessarily because this guy is making sort of, and I don't even know how he keeps that business afloat because he's always giving out loans.
Exactly.
And I don't know the rate at which they're coming back. But he's still working.
If they're coming back at all.
Yeah, the thing is he's still working within that capitalist system. He's just not playing by the rules in terms of I need to make profits. He's trying to find this optimum way that everybody can benefit. Yeah, I know it's borderline socialism. But I think in their minds are like, we've just gone sort of around.
Because this guy represents everything America is about, like basically
blue collar.
profit, all that thing.
Yeah.
So it was something that also.
But again,
On second viewing,
capitalism has also that lie that the little guy can make it, or that
to the
capitalism
top, yes.
is actually fair.
Yeah.
That's also a thing they're playing to, I think, within this. So for me, it never really strays to that point of capitalism is evil. But
Yes,
it's
I also
interesting.
listened this second time when I watched it. I was like, these guys are too.
Yeah.
Posing sides.
Yeah.
Can we talk about?
I want to hear about Mary. What you think?
I'll leave
Yeah.
So can we first talk about? Let's first talk about the scenes that we liked. I really liked the scene in the ballroom when they're dancing and then it opens into a swimming pool.
Yeah.
That was one of the more glorious moments that I wish had carried through.
Like that
Like
that tone.
I wanted that back. Like to me, sinking in the rain has more happiness in it. That would even be something I'd rather watch on Christmas than this. This movie made me sad. It made me think shit. But I really dug that scene a lot because of the vibe he's having with his love interest who carries through. And then they keep dancing and then they fall into the pool. That was one of my favorites. And I think my own other favorite one was also with the same chick when he goes to her home and then they are trying. It has a period of time has passed, and then she has come back from school, but she's dating someone else, and he comes. He's not sure, but they're having some sense of vibe there.
She's dating Hee-Haw.
Say his name again.
No, I don't know his name. It's just when the girls do that. Hee-Haw. That shit was so stupid.
There was a scene there where the mother was taunting her for talking to him. Then she's like, "Mom, we're having violent sex."
Yeah.
That was really funny. One of the only moments I actually laughed was really funny. And besides that, those were my two favorite scenes actually. Did you have any favorites?
Yeah, my absolute favorite is the pulling the moon scene when they're like walking back after the dance. I love
Buffalo
that.
Girl.
I love that entire thing. That entire scene is magical.
That's also besides the end scene.
Yes,
that
The
scene
end
when
scene.
like she loses her robe.
Yeah.
All
that shit is
dying.
Yeah. So
We all like the scenes with the lady, so let's talk about her. So the women in this film in general, I just look at it as this was that time, and that was the sensible way to look at things, because there's this theme of where if she doesn't get married, she becomes an old maid. Which is like...
How did you like the flashback? She's
an old maid.
She's an old maid and she's working in a library. You guys, is that sadness? Like that was viewed as the worst thing possible for them.
An unattached woman.
The fuck?
The most depressing thing.
That's the saddest shit. Like, that's stuff that really makes me cringe, but I'm like, those were the times. And that's when if someone dare do that shit, there's no reason to do it today. People should murder you because that is wrong representation of what it is like today.
To not get married.
It must be what you're thinking is, but it's not that way anymore. So people should never do that shit anymore. But old movies are like that. Their women are terrible.
Yeah, like I think
they are not characters.
After World War II, like there was that American dream thing, like especially in the 50s.
Yeah.
I think even like Mad Men, that kind of era they're representing, that's exactly the kind of thing they're going for. The perfect American family, working husband, the wife who stays at home, takes care of the kids.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was, I think, a social thing at the time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The woman is
that's
very
dated.
homely.
It's dated right now.
It's very, very dated. Like you can even see her whole shtick is to get that house and remodel it. That's the ultimate homely woman. Yeah. The representation of the pure, nice woman.
She's painting the house herself.
I mean, though in this particular case, I mean, they established that dream way before. When they even on,
that was
because she was already talking about it in terms of, I want to live with my husband there, and she's just like, I've always been in love with this house. I want to live there, and everyone's like, that's a shitty old house, but she wants to live in that house.
There was also that scene I'd forgotten, the one when they were going for their honeymoon. And then like they had to stop, and then she brought the money for the honeymoon, and they
What
gave it
are
out
your
to
thoughts
people.
on that
Shit
scene?
was heartbreaking, man.
It
I
was
know.
nice.
Like, it's-
I
it
was
liked
nice.
it
It's
so
It's
much.
why.
It's
That's
1940s melodrama, but
Yeah.
it's
That's why.
It kind
It's
of,
a
I
very
like
emotionally
them making
affecting,
her
yeah.
as if the savior.
then they
Yeah.
had their honeymoon.
Yeah, because he
afterwards.
was never like, no, let's take the money and
No,
do this.
she's
Like,
not
she
who
came of
comes
her
out.
volition, and yeah.
At first I thought you were saying it's a bad scene.
No, see, it's hard.
No.
No, it's just heartbreaking.
I'm so
It's
confused.
just, no, it's
What
really
did you
good
guys
scene.
think of the one black woman in this movie?
Oh,
Was
Maid.
The mammy.
Yeah.
The old maid.
I was kind of stunned, like, for that time, how they were talking to her normally,
Exactly. That's another
which
thing I
really
think they
shocked me. They made it even like even the white women could be old maids, and they were
Mm.
so interacting with her in a normal way.
Yeah, they had like a lot of cheeky banter, by the way.
Yeah.
Between, the two of
So I
them.
was shocked.
Yeah.
Joel, you
She
feel like
was comic relief in a way. She had like,
yeah.
Yeah, no, still, I still always sort of cringe
Yeah,
at that image of the black nursemaid in the white home. Yeah.
Mm.
So even when it's dressed up, like even especially when it's dressed up to that level of normalcy of like, oh no, see, she's like our
It's part
friend
of the
and it's part
family.
of the family. It's all good. That sort of even makes it
Still,
weird.
yeah.
It makes it even weirder for me. Like they're purposefully trying to normalize it as this is okay, relax.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I put those feelings aside, just to look at it on that surface value of she's part of the family, it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we've not talked about that final scene enough.
I know.
Yes.
That's insane. Because that what if scenario
Mhm.
was pretty insane.
Yeah.
It was scary.
It was
actually.
really, really scary, and it actually takes a long time to accept.
Yeah.
Then it's really beautiful how he was being mean to his kids,
Yeah.
and then he comes back and hugging them and
Yeah.
kissing him. My best thing is how he had the petals in his
Yeah.
pocket.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my god,
Zuzu's
I don't have
petals.
Zuzu's.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way to make it right. Zuzu's petals, like you don't have the petals. Speaking of, that angel was normal as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, Clarence. Yeah.
It was interesting
And
to
he got
see.
his wings.
Yeah. He used to speak in such a frank way, like was like a junior level sort of
Was talking-
bank manager or some shit. Like
Did you
Then-
like it? Huh?
The other guy who was in the room with them, like
Yeah.
whenever this guy would say something, this guy would just
freak.
Well,
Oh yeah,
freak
the
until he
yeah.
fell off the chair. He was like, man, because the guy had like some 16th century clothing on or something.
Yeah.
He was talking about Mark Twain. Is it Mark Twain? The guy who wrote Tom Sawyer.
Yeah,
like his
yeah.
latest book. This guy's like, who's this guy from?
Did you like how the angels seemed so normal? Like they were telling him not to drink alcohol.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That was very.
It was
cute
super
stuff.
cute.
Yeah.
But that scene is nice. It can bring. You guys cried, both of you, right?
I almost.
Yeah.
I almost made.
You
Yeah.
and
Joel,
Fuller
Joel,
cried.
Joel.
Joe, you cried
Every
after
time.
the
Every
boss
year,
baby.
every year.
You
What do you mean
cried
most-
after the boss baby.
The bus
I don't trust you.
No, that's just a specific boss baby scene, just a specific one with is it? Yeah, no, where yeah, when they become like brothers, like he comes back to be the family. That shit is touching, man. That's some touching shit.
I also teared
But
up, man.
but I always tear
Oh,
up just
it's
that
a
last
I
wonderful-
scene.
haven't teared up since like Titanic or some shit.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
But
This one actually felt it. And the first time I watched it, I think I
Yeah.
watched it on Christmas and it was a bit passive. But this time when I watched it again, it was.
Yeah, this is one of the few where it's just legit tears of joy. Just when he comes back, like I feel
Yeah.
all that happiness, which is why I love the structure.
Yeah.
Because I've lived that entire life with him, so I am there with him.
Yeah.
When he comes back, I'm just as happy as he. When he touches the petals, when he gets that broken like
The
post,
door, yeah,
post on the
yeah,
stairs and kisses it, like I am there. Like I feel every emotion he has. And when the town comes and like gives
Yeah,
him the
the
money,
money.
I'm finished. Just too
And they
much.
sing the
Just-
song.
Yeah, they sing the song. It's so heavy. So much shit.
They
yeah.
keep telling him how he's the richest man in town because he has
Yes.
friends. Oh, that's actually.
And even the guy who audits even gives him
Even gives
guy,
him money.
that's-
The guys who are going to take him.
Yeah, that's so nice.
And then
Yeah.
Mr. Potter just disappears.
Yeah.
Like he just goes.
It would be weird if the supporter also came in and gave them.
Man, you've changed that.
That would have been a could take you out of that scene fast.
But I almost thought like his Cup Butler guy who was pushing him around. Yeah. I almost thought that guy was going to snake him and like take the dime back, because I think that was like once he took that money, that's the only time the butler was reacting shit like, what the fuck, man? Like, are we seriously doing this right now?
So that guy is pretty much like a Scrooge. Like if they had not done the movie on Mr. Potter, it would have been a Scrooge.
Yeah. No, even George Bailey himself is a reverse Ebenezer Scrooge. Yeah. And Christmas Carol is also a depressing as fuck story, but it's a Christmas classic. Which I think is why I like this movie as well.
Christmas, the
Which
one
Christmas
time.
Carol? The Zemeckis thing?
Huh?
There's that Zemeckis.
Isn't
No,
that
man,
the one with
I
Jim
don't know
Carrey?
the movie ones, man. I just know the books. I didn't like the Jim Carrey one. No. Yeah, it's just bad choices. Just the technical choices were weird. But if it was just live action, it would have been fine. But yeah, Christmas Carol is a great story.
So, Merry Christmas, people.
Yeah.
Anyone who's listening,
Happy holidays.
happy holidays.
That's the politically
Happy,
correct
yeah.
term, right?
Oh.
Happy Hanukkah. Oh.
Happy holidays, everyone. Watch this movie with your family. Give presents, money for people who have problems.
Yeah.
Especially us.
Especially us. All it is envelopes
Us,
of money.
Money. Okay, that's tricky. So this week we won't do recommendations because next week we're doing our end of year and it's going to be packed with recommendations. So
I mean, unless you want to recommend
Christmas,
a Christmas
real
film,
Christmas
a
movie.
real
I actually don't
Christmas.
have one. So you guys go ahead if you have any.
Office Christmas Party.
Aye.
I like TJ Miller, Jennifer Aniston. It's just a raunchy Christmas comedy. I liked it.
I would recommend Arthur Christmas, which is it's an animation I think by DreamWorks. It's about the Santa family. It's like a whole lineage, and it ranges from the old school Santa that we know to like a new sort of high tech one, and they have like computers doing shit. He has like a clean cut goatee and shit, and it's about like 4 generations of Santas that all have this idea of what Christmas is supposed to be, and yeah, it's a very interesting take on that entire mythology, and yeah, the spirit of Christmas is also very, very strong in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I personally have no choice. I'm not a Christmas movie watcher and I don't have any in mind right now.
Except like my dear.
I've never watched a Madea movie. This guy's made this shit up. I never mentioned my dear.
There's a Halloween one. That's Boo.
Yeah, Boo. My
My
dear.
dear. Isn't
I'm
that the
sure
last
she has a
one?
movie for like every season. There must be.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, my dear movie.
I really hate those movies, man.
Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for listening. This is Cinema Pill. We are the trio that make it. So, thanks, Joel. Thanks, Timothy.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks for listening. We're on Twitter and Facebook in case you want to keep updated on social media, and follow us and review us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Follow us on SoundCloud to keep up to date when there's a new